Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video here in Moscow. Now today I'm going to go for a bit of a walk around a very nice park in Moscow center. Now this is around about half an hour away by car from Red Square. It's called Druzby Park, which kind of translates to Friendship Park. So we're going to have a walk around. It's kind of got a little bit of a feeling like Central Park in New York. Now, probably not exactly the same, but definitely got that kind of feeling when you walk around and people everywhere. So let's go and check it out. Now, the park itself is actually kind of around quite a few different suburbs, but they have these nice ponds as well, and you can rent rowing boats. Check that out. They've got a little cabin over there, and then there's a couple going out for a row there, and it's a really nice spot. Now I was going to try and get the nice scenic kind of view of the skyline. We're going to have to go a bit of a walk all the way around this. It's kind of a pond, they like to call them here in Moscow. Now, you're not actually meant to swim in it at all, but you know, nobody's really kind of checking anything here, so. And you can see all these kind of little arched bridges on the other side there. We'll try and do a bit of a lap around and check it out. There's all these people jumping in the water here. It's actually very clear water. It's not very deep either, so it's not a problem to swim in once you find a little spot. So you'll see here a few people having a bit of a swim in the water. It really is only about maybe 1.5 or 2 meters deep, so it's not a problem. Even if you can't really swim, you kind of just paddle around. And then check out this little house right here. This is kind of neat. I'm not too sure what purpose it has, but it's kind of in the middle of the pond. Another guy's swimming out there. But this is kind of where it looks a little bit like Central Park. Can you see the buildings off in the distance? It's kind of got that kind of feeling to it. If you've been to New York before, I guess it makes a lot of sense. But if you haven't, then it'll seem a little bit strange. And then just looking back here, you can see everybody sunbathing here. It's actually a really beautiful day today here in Moscow. About 30, 31 Celsius. Little bit of cloud in the sky, but everybody out suntanning. You know, there's not a very long summer here in Russia, so definitely got to take advantage of it. Yeah, one of the reasons I kind of chose to come to this park today is it's got a lot of trees and lots of shade, especially with this warm weather. When you come out of winter and minus 10, 15, 20, and then you kind of get hit with a 30-degree day, it's kind of a little bit too much, so it's nice to kind of get to one of the parks and then get under a bit of shade where possible. And then looking back across the pond here, you'll see a family here with a little rowboat and Dad patiently rowing away there. He's probably sweating with the heat. And then there's actually kind of a little refuge island which you can't get over to, but they really do kind of look after the parks here and make sure there's plenty of places for all the wildlife and birds and ducks and squirrels and things like that. So have a look. Now the water doesn't look amazing, but it is super clear, and it's just such a nice place, and it's not that far from Moscow. So for me just to come out here from Moscow center, it was probably around about 15 or 20 minutes on the metro. And here I am. So there you go, folks. Park Druzby, or Friendship Park. And I've actually come to the amusement park section. Now this is pretty cool because it's kind of got all the kind of rides of the fair. And obviously now that it's summertime, it's in full operation. It's not very busy with kids, but they've got the dodgems. Yes. They've got the dodgems right here. Anyone knows these very well from going to Blackpool or to the Perth Royal Show or somewhere like that around the world. And it's pretty cool to see. I'm pretty sure that the guy that's running it here isn't too bothered about how long the kids get to ride on, because he's just switched it on for a second go for them. So I'm pretty sure it's not so important how much the kids get to ride when it's not very busy like this. And they have, of course, the famous tin can alley. And this one here where you throw the darts at the balloons. Oh! Let's see if she can do it on the next throw. Davai, davai. Whoa! Check out this, the ride! Now it's only for the young kids, so I don't think it's very scary, but if anyone's been on Pepsi Max at Blackpool, they may know this ride very well. Then walking along a little bit further in the park, they've got these outside concessions. That's always nice, you know, stop for a drink, some popcorn, fairy floss, ice creams. So it's always nice that these parks, especially in summertime like this, they're kind of set up for the public. They make sure that everything is here and open and running. There's another one of the kids' rides right here. This is really for the young kids, this kind of park here. So it's not very busy, but as we can see, some apartments off in the distance. What a shame they didn't have windows facing this direction. What were the builders thinking? I think when they were building these kind of walkways here, they had that arch in Venice in mind. Kind of has that kind of look to it, and maybe not quite the same. And the little canal here going into the next pond. You can see the apartment buildings off in the distance there. So, yeah, what a great view some of these other buildings have. And you can see some more rowers off in the distance. Now, I'm not very good at making kind of cinematic kind of videos. I tend to do a lot of walking and talking style videos, but they've got this really neat statue behind me. And this is kind of the meaning of the Friendship Park. And it's meant to be in 4 segments. Now, walking around, I don't really see a big difference in the segments, but I think at some point, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, when the park was originally kind of built, it had more of a difference to the areas, but over time, maybe it's all blended together. And right here in the middle of the park, they've got this very big kids' playground that they've built. And it's actually, I think it's a sensory park, but from what I can see, I think a lot of people maybe miss the meaning of it, but there's all these kind of touch and play things. This family over here has figured out one of the xylophones. And there's actually the bendy mirrors over here if you want to do some selfies. There's one lady doing her own selfies there, and then have a look at the apartment building just off in the distance there. It's got that middle walkway between the, I guess that's the elevator shaft that they may have added later, I don't know. And you can see here these more modern buildings and the really modern ones off in the distance. And then off underneath there you can see even the swings as well that they built under the gantry right there. And there's a slide that kind of takes off from the top up here, which is very nice. And then some other climbing equipment as well. Such a nice spot, this, right in the middle of Moscow. There's the kind of view I was looking for right there. Check that out with the buildings and all the trees. Now, I understand that Moscow center, if I'm not mistaken, has the most amount of green space of any major city in the world. Now, you know, walking around Moscow center and then the regional areas, I can see why they really kind of look after the parks and make sure seasonally that they're fully open and ready to let people in, especially coming out of winter. So it's such a nice place. Check it out. There's all these nice walking paths. It's good for runners, cyclists, People just walking. And then here's another one of the ponds, just walking on a little bit further around the park. This one's a little bit more still water, and then if you can see off in the very distance in the middle, they've got these little houses set up. These are like little duck houses, I think they call them. So the ducks and their families have got somewhere to hang out in the middle of these ponds. It's such a nice place. Now, I'm not keen to kind of walk over there, but there's somebody sunbathing just here, and I'm not sure if they've got any clothes on. Now, that kind of middle part of the pond here doesn't have a lot of paths, so I'm not too sure. And it looks like I've found the training center for the 2024 Olympic Table Tennis Association here. I wonder if some of these are potential candidates for the Olympics coming up. What do we got, about a year and a half from now? There's future stars here playing. Now in Russia, very few people play basketball, and this converted ice hockey rink here in the park has got a whole of 6 guys playing basketball. It's a really nice spot too. It's got the cushioned floor, but winter time it would be snowed in and it would be an ice rink. But just interesting that there's only a whole of 6 people here, when anywhere else in the world you'd be fighting to shoot hoops. There's a very nice cafe here as well to relax. This is a little bit more fancier than your kind of normal Moscow cafes, but very nice place to sit and have a coffee and cake, glass of wine. Yeah, this is a very fancy place actually, now I look at it. Okay everybody, I really do hope you enjoyed this little bit of a walk around of Druzby Park, or Park Druzby, or Friendship Park here in Moscow. Now, it's this is one of around about 50 parks around the whole Moscow kind of center area. So these kind of parks don't get overly busy. This is a little bit further out of the center, you know, about half an hour by car or metro. So you may not sort of see many people in this video and wonder, you know, on a beautiful day, but there is a lot of parks to visit, and especially maybe close to where people live. Not necessarily people will travel across the whole of Moscow to kind of go to a different park necessarily, but it's a beautiful place. And again, lots of shade as well, big trees, and nice to walk around in weather like this. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you like this kind of video versus some of my others. This is kind of going to be a bit of an interesting one to see the kind of numbers later on. So thanks everybody. Give us a thumbs up if you thought it was a good video. Post a comment. And if you're ever in Moscow, get the metro out here to Druzby Park and check it out yourself. Bye everybody. Bye.